go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. Joining us today, Dynasty Owl, the Doc. I'm the Commish. We are the Masters crew. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Fantastic.
Yeah, doing great.
Yep, good to hear. Right before we jump into today's episode, just wanted to pass it along. Keep an eye out. Playoff leagues are getting posted this week. Playoffs right around the corner. Going to start taking signups for those. If you've joined some of them here, you already know some of the funnest leagues we run. If you're new to them, come check out the website. These things run from wild card weekend all the way to the Super Bowl. Ton of strategy goes into them. Some of my favorite leagues. Let's jump into today's show. We're going to be taking a look at the tight end position in Dynasty football. Some guys we think if you're a rebuilding team, you should be out targeting right now. Kick it over to you guys. Whichever you want to go first. Floor is all yours.
Yeah, I'll go first. Oh, I still have
Whoa, man. No, go ahead.
All right. I guess I went first on the wide receivers too. That's all right. So
no, it's all right.
It's my guy. I think, whether you're rebuilding or a contender, I think he fits the bill, but especially for a rebuild just because of his age. But he's not going to be super easy to get. But I think he's obtainable still. It's mainly because I can just tell by the Doc's face we're going the same guy here. Who are we talking about, Doc?
No, just say it.
Want to do it together?
No, just say it.
Hockenson?
Oh, no. Okay. No, no spoilers.
TJ Hockenson, just 24 years old in year 3 now. Last year, he saw 100 targets. This year, he's playing really well. Jared Goff's that quarterback, not playing great, and Detroit's just kind of a mess overall. But I think that's the only thing that's keeping him affordable. I mean, this is a guy, I know we all had the Kyle Pitts fever this year because he was the 4th pick of the NFL draft and a generational talent. But let's not forget, TJ Hockenson went pick 8 in the NFL draft just a couple years ago. I mean, for tight ends to go top 10, almost unheard of. Obviously, Pitts has an even higher ceiling, you could say, as the Doc is going to talk about him later, I can tell. But you want to know the truth, I think TJ Hawkins is like discount Kyle Pitts in the sense that you're going to get him for less. And his ceiling's not as high, but I think you could argue, pretty similar. I almost want to compare it to, I see Kyle Pitts as the next Darren Waller. His career is going to be much longer in terms of playing at his prime because it took Darren Waller a long time to get there. But I think he's going to be prime Darren Waller. And I think TJ Hawkinson's going to be prime George Kittle. Some of the comparables out there were like a Travis Kelce type after the combine. Playerprofiler.com, they kind of take all of the combine data and they, break out comparisons. And Travis Kelce is his most comparable player. But I think he kind of reminds me a lot of a Kittle type. But either way, just a beast at the tight end position. And I think he's obtainable, only 24 years old. And if that quarterback situation in Detroit figures itself out, he could have an awesome career.
Yeah, I like that take a lot. I obviously, like I said, Hockenson was one of the guys I thought about for doing this show. I think for all the reasons you said, it just makes all the sense in the world. I think he's pretty underrated, even though he's been about as solid as it gets this year. So yeah, I think he's a guy worth going out and sending some offers for.
Yeah, I'll just add real quick to that too. I think one of the stories behind Hockenson this year is that maybe some of this production is because of the lack of weapons in Detroit. And I'm not saying that's not true whatsoever. Well, let's not gloss over the fact this guy was a top 10 pick, has all the intangibles. He's just a guy I feel really confident, even as that offense grows, Hawkinson's going to be just fine. Now just add in too, man, with he's also the focal point of defenses and they can't stop this guy. So
exactly.
I think
you put a weapon on the outside to stretch the field. He might actually be able to eat more underneath,
So yeah, as Al kind of hinted at, my guy is Pitts. And I actually was close to doing Freiermuth, but kind of talked about him a lot last week. So if you haven't seen that show, go check it out. That's all my thoughts on him. He got another catch right now. I almost flipped back to Freiermuth as you were talking, but I'm going to stick with Pitts. And I know it's similar to Pittman where he's a young guy. He's been playing not as well as Pittman has. He's been pretty okay. And I think for that reason, he was so highly hyped coming into this season that he's actually, I feel like, at a reasonable value right now for him. again, I mean, he's been in double digits just 3 times this year, but despite that, I mean, he is getting 7 targets a game. So I'm not like worried about him going forward at all, even though he hasn't really had a ton of success. And I feel like, when Calvin Ridley, gets back into the mode where he wants to play football, obviously he's got bigger fish to fry right now off the field. So whenever he comes back, then I feel even better for Pitts's value going forward, because I mean, right now defenses can literally just double and triple him because he's the only threat that they're seeing. So I feel like for that reason, you can get him relatively cheap because he hasn't really flashed this year besides a couple games here and there. And then, I mean, going forward, I feel as strongly as I do about him now as I did in the offseason, despite the season he's had. So Kyle Pitts, again, I don't think it'll be easy, but I do feel like I've seen him get traded in a couple of dynasties already and in a couple of redraft leagues. And I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but, people are impatient. So, I mean, it's worth throwing offers out there and trying to get a guy who can be a cornerstone at the tight end position for you for the next 10 plus years. So that's who I'm going to go get. I'm going to try to get him.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man, I'll bring up trades again as a guy that processes trades all day. I mean, there was a span early on in the season when I either didn't see Kyle Pitts or I seen a boatload coming for this guy. You were, paying a premium to get Kyle Pitts. That's slacked off a little bit the last couple of weeks. You're still going to pay quite a bit, but it's not what it was or what the potential can be for it. I mean, let's just bring up the hype train and the positional advantage with Kyle Pitts, man. If he lives up to that hype, add in the positional advantage that you're going to get with Kyle Pitts, I mean, his value is going to skyrocket, if those two things ever meet. So I like it. And I'm just going to toss my guy in here. He's probably a guy that you don't have to trade for. Maybe. I know some of my leagues guys have stashed him. In some of my other leagues, I've went out and picked him up the last couple of weeks for nothing. My rebuilding team's a guy that I want to toss in there at tight end. And I kind of just want to ask you guys your thoughts on him. And if you think he's worth picking up, possibly going into the next season, Irv Smith Jr. He's a guy that I picked up. I know Conklin's looked okay, but I just don't think I still think the job is his if he comes back healthy next season. So for me, he's a guy that you can probably get for absolutely nothing with some upside at the tight end position. Not sure if you guys agree with that or not.
Yeah, I love it. He was the guy I was super high on before the year. Obviously, the injury happened, and I dropped him where I had him. But yeah, I think he's, especially as the year starts winding down, and especially if you're a rebuilding team, I think he's a great use of a roster spot because that offseason hype will be there again this year, and I like it.
Right. And I just think we're right at that point in the season. Guys are realizing, hey, I'm not going to make it to the playoffs.
Right. And then they start adding guys like him.
So you start going to look for guys like Irv Smith. I think if you wait just a couple more weeks, he's probably not going to be on your waiver wire. So if you kind of already made the call, tossed in the white flag, go pick up Irv Smith. Why not, man?
Love it.
Yeah, I love that take too. I just want to say that, yes, Conklin's been okay, but Irv Smith, much higher draft capital and investment by the Vikings, and not to mention he's a way better athlete, pass catcher. So I mean, just think of what he'd be able to do with Conklin's target share. I think it's a no-brainer. I've got him stashed in a couple of leagues for that reason. So great call, Commish. And also a sneaky one too that's also kind of probably not even on a lot of rosters. He's playing right now. Cole Kmet is another guy I got my eye on. He's been starting to build up some chemistry and consistency with Fields. So I don't know. I mean, he's a guy I got my eye on for sure.
Yeah.
Another guy, Adam Troutman.
Yeah.
Troutman. Yeah, I like that too.
And knowing that you like Kmet in the one league we're in together, I mean, I have a pretty good roster. He's been like a fringe cut guy because I have like 4 tight ends. But like every week, because I know as soon as I drop him, you're going to pick him up. I'm going to regret
absolutely.
it. So, all right, guys.
Yeah, that's the league I have Irv Smith. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk tomorrow, man.
Yeah, we'll talk some shop there.
All right, guys. Good stuff. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, come be a part of the Masters family. Love to have you. Any last words, guys?
Thanks for listening.